Coming to you from the dining room table at East Barbary Lane, welcome to the Season 4 finale of Full Circle, the podcast. Here's a look back at every episode from the past 12 months, brought to you by decanted jug wine and chairs that don't creak.
I am your host, Charles Tyson Jr.
And I'm your host, Martha Madrigal. Welcome to the Full Circle table. Season 4
I know
is coming to a close.
Who'd have thunk it besides me and you?
Well, yeah. I guess I assumed there would be multiple seasons back in the beginning.
Yeah.
I just realized we are down to recording about a third of the time, so we've got to try to do something about that. But because we listened back to the intros to each end of season, and season 1, I think we had about 64 shows. And we've got about 26 this year, so we need to pick up the pace a little bit.
Well, because your ass was scarce.
That is really what it comes down to. Both of us working full time, and multiple commitments. Yeah, and mental health as well. Sometimes we've got to be fortified, prepared to delve into the news these days.
Fair.
Yeah, we've got a toddler running rampant,
A drunken toddler, I believe you referred to him in one episode.
Toddler. Yeah, the insanity of the entire Republican Party. They need to snatch him while we have a country. I don't know what they're waiting for, but I'm sure they have a plan.
Right.
It just doesn't include any of us, and that's a problem.
At this point, they should just trip him.
Yeah, I doubt it would take much.
I'm saying.
Yeah, he's shuffling as it is.
He's bunched the rug up a little bit.
Just a little, yeah. At any rate, it has been quite a year. We started this year saying we were going to try to focus more on queer excellence and queer joy, a little bit less on the nonsense. I think we've tried to do that.
We did speak to a lot of fabulous queer folks this year.
Yes, we have. The nonsense is coming at such a rapid pace that it's hard to ignore.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's still a part of the show. But we also said at the beginning of this season, we're going to find out what it's like to put a fascist, corrupt, convicted criminal back into office. And it's been every bit as bad, and I would argue worse even than we predicted.
Not sure how it's worse, but it is.
Well, bombing Iran is worse than, I had hoped that we wouldn't go quite that far. But we will apparently do almost anything to avoid the Epstein files.
Chaw?
Yeah, it's crazy, huh?
Chaw.
And still blaming the trannies, full on, especially in Kansas at the moment. Crazy stuff. It's been a crazy year. This is not normal. This is not sane. This is not okay. But we're still here.
Yep. And we'll be delving more into those topics and more when we get to season 5.
So let's get to it.
Okay.
Here is a bit of every show from our 4th season. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you made it enjoyable. Huh? Maybe.
We made it enjoyable.
Well, there's that. And we will be back for season 5.
Woohoo! I am so thrilled to have TJ Kloon at the Full Circle table. Hi, TJ. How are you?
I am good, Charles. Thank you so much for having me. I truly appreciate it. And the book follows his journey with these 2 other characters, Artemis and Alex. And what I love about the book, for the most part, is yes, there's the big sci-fi adventure that goes on top of it. There's a big cast of characters, but at its heart, it is about Nate and Art and Alex. They are a triangle. Without them, without any one of the three, the picture wouldn't be complete. They are pieces from a puzzle, from different puzzles, but when they go together, they still somehow fit and still form a picture. And when you're writing, when you include romance in books and stuff like that, that there's a tendency to focus on just the two main characters that are as part of the romance. But with this, Art, she is 10 years old, and she is on every single page because she is just as important as Nate and Alex are. And her journey is what sends Nate off into a world where he realizes it's not what it seems. And he has to go and figure out how to do what Nate or what Alex and Art have started out to do, trying to get her home.
That's yes. It was so much fun to read, and the character of Artemis is very charming. It's so charming, and I had suspected what made her special a bit beforehand, but I was almost wrong. And I love that. And it kind of gave me the dynamic between the three kind of gave me Louis Lestat and Claudia vibes, except not quite as creepy.
Right, not quite as creepy. Would not want to go to that direction, yes. And I doubt that Art can be a little creepy sometimes, but she's not a child vampire queen.
Right. Wayne Scott is here to talk about his memoir, The Maps They Gave Us, One Marriage Reimagined. And I am here to tell you that it is a wonderful read, and I can't wait to talk to him about it. Wayne, how are you? Welcome to the Full Circle Table.
Oh, thank you very much for inviting me. It's an honor. About the 15-year mark, we had a bit of a crisis, and I realized I had kind of lopped off this huge, important part of myself. It's almost like I had forgotten who I was in a way that I just kind of I couldn't tolerate anymore. The loneliness and the desperation and the desolation was too much. And I didn't know how to talk to her about it because, again, with the script that was supplied to us about what a heteronormative marriage is supposed to look like, for me to initiate the conversation would be to initiate a conversation about divorce. That's how it felt. Like we have a very binary way of thinking about all these different, whether it's male or female or
monogamy or not,
gay or straight, or marriage or divorce,
right? Yeah,
or monogamy or not. Like they're very polarized ways, and in fact, human relationships and humans are messier and more fluid than that.
True,
right?
That.
And we need to find containers. Maybe we need to reimagine containers that are going to allow us more room to grow, to evolve, to heal sometimes.
Right. And I think it also comes down to, wiring, because some people, I was actually just having this conversation a couple of days ago, how, I don't think I'm wired for something like an open relationship. And I think part of that is, in my 20s and 30s, I was such a hoe. So when I'm ready to settle down, I'm ready to settle down.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing more and more with friends that they're exploring open relationships. And to me, from the outside, it just looks so messy.
Yep. No, you're right. It is messy.
But if it works, I try to not sit in judgment, because if it's working for you and no one's getting hurt, who am I to have anything to say?
Yeah.
But yeah, I just don't think I'm wired that way. So if you are, good Godspeed, you know what I mean?
Well, and I actually appreciate you saying what you just said, because I think it's very important to come into any conversation like this without an agenda and without being prescriptive or dogmatic that one relationship form is superior to another. We all have to find our way, right? And actually, when you first said, I am not wired for non-monogamy, honestly, Charles, I would have said that. I would have said that a couple of years ago too. And the period of time that's depicted in the memoir is a period. It's a crucible. It's a period of intense struggle with this couple trying this marital experiment. Can we transition into a non-monogamous form from what we had? And we didn't know it was going to work. We really didn't.
Today, I am delighted to be sitting with our guest, Tony Keith Jr.
Hey.
Tony is a wonderful poet, spoken word artist, hip-hop educational leader from Washington, D.C., so you know we're going to have an interesting conversation. Today, we're going to be talking about Tony's collection of poems called Knucklehead. And I would really love to get into this. Tony Keith Jr., welcome to the Full Circle Table.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Charles. Glad to be here.
Yeah, I love your use of language. And, you know, I felt like this was coming from someone I knew, you know, because, you know, hopefully when we are young, coming up, gay people, gay Black people, hopefully we have a few figures in our life that are there to like help bring us up and show us the way. And your voice called to that.
Oh, I really appreciate that because, Charles, something that I think so much about is, if only I had a book like this when I was a kid.
Oh my God.
How seen, you know, I would have like felt. And although I was reading, this is what's interesting is, you know, I was reading Langston Hughes as a kid, but nobody was talking to me about Langston Hughes and his sexuality or his masculinity. Like no one was saying to me that, Tony, you're reading the works of queer writers, gay writers. Like I didn't know then. Right. And then, of course, you know, I grew up in the era where I was reading, at least in college, literary works by Elin Harris.
Yes.
You know, and so, right. So I remember like literature.
B-Boy Blues got me through some stuff.
Okay. So I'm thinking about like, I remember sort of discovering Black gay queer authors, I guess, sort of in my 20s. But like, what about my like teens and middle school years? Like, where were they? And all I keep thinking about is, like right now in this moment, I'm like, I really want these young Black boys, whether they're queer, gay or not, or questioning or whoever, to like, to know that they exist. Like right now, like here's a book for young adults. Like here's something written for you, specifically for you. I really wanted that. I was like, this is the book that I needed. The poems that would have been like, oh, this makes sense.
This episode is brought to you by my return to the mic as a married woman and wine straight from the jug. We had the best flower girl ever.
Facts.
We had a formidable trans woman who wore a beautiful green dress and fairy wings and distributed petals.
Yes.
Yeah, gaily forward, all the way up to the front where she dumped the rest of them on your head. Right. And then sat down.
It was fabulous.
They were silk.
And the fairy wings were definitely my idea because I was like, well, if she's going to be the flower girl, it just makes sense to me for some reason that she needs to be wearing fairy wings.
And black combat boots. And she was totally just representing queer joy.
Indeed.
And, you know.
And even if that weren't her like actual position, she would have anyway, just by being her.
But it was like, what did Tara and Brian say? This was not only the most fun wedding I've ever been to, it was the funniest. And I was like, well, good.
We are us after all.
Yeah, it was supposed to not be somber. Dear God, it's almost 13 years.
I know.
Yeah, it was, I mean, lighthearted was perfectly good.
Do you feel different?
I do. I didn't think I would. I really didn't think I would.
How do you feel different?
It feels good that we're married. I mean, it does feel good. You've been different.
I have?
Yeah. You've been so sweet and attentive, and it's like, you know, you finally don't think I'm fucking around with you and like gonna throw you out tomorrow or something. Like that's what I'm surmising.
I mean, you're not completely incorrect.
It's like, okay, it's finally real.
Yeah, there is a lightness about me now. Like, good. You know, there's no more doubts. There's no more doubts or questions. Like, we're in this together. And I didn't really not believe it, but you know.
But that's a fair assessment, given me. I mean, it is. Like, it's fair to say, didn't always feel solid.
But I'm happy, and
I am too.
And you know, just I'm your husband.
Every signature on our marriage license is It belongs to a person of trans experience. Because we got married the day before Trans Day of Visibility. And it just as I thought of it, I was like, oh, that's what has to happen right here. Because our officiant was Josette Miller, who is the first trans woman elected to partisan office in the state of New Jersey.
That's
She's
right.
a Woodbury City council person. And she officiated, and she did a wonderful job. That kid is going places. And
Indeed.
I love it. I love it.
And again, like,
So the witnesses had to be trans too.
right. Like, she was one of a very short list of people that we were thinking of for that job. But she was the one.
Well, Kathy wouldn't do it. I said, "You got to marry us," and she went, "I don't want that job."
Right.
So
But
she walked me up the aisle.
she was the one who I, like, pictured in my mind.
Oh yeah, I could see it.
Like, everyone on the list would have done a fabulous job, but Joe was the one who I saw.
Yeah, and Joey would have been wonderful too. But like Joey and I do the dinner together. Joey and I have, known each other longer, and I mean it's fair to say we're closer. And I wanted her to be able to be a guest.
Right.
That's what I wanted. But she did sign the marriage license. So
Right. And I love that.
I do too.
And it didn't even occur to me until after the fact what you did with that. And I was like, oh, I see you.
Yeah. And that was the thing. I mean, we had a lot of trans folk there. We had a lot of queer folks there. We had certainly a lot of people of color there, and everyone was fine. Everybody was good. I mean, the staff was wonderful.
Yeah. And there were some straights in there too.
Yeah, I mean, they can't help it. They were born that way.
Exactly.
This episode is brought to you by Decanted Jug Wine and a brand new bed. Excuse me. Sleep system.
So many things have happened since the last time we recorded, up to and including Pope Francis
Yeah, he
passed
met
away.
J.D. Vance and kicked.
Yeah.
I think they're related. I think he went, this motherfucker, and just decided life was no longer worth living.
I saw a meme that said, I have to go tell on you to Jesus myself, personally.
Yeah, I'm not sure they know what's going on down here, but they need to.
Yeah, so Pope Francis was 88 when he died. And he had just given the Easter Mass.
Yeah, the day, right, just.
Which leads me to believe that he was hanging on for that.
I think he was hanging on for Easter, not JD, but I think JD just went, okay, I'm done.
Right.
That would be a reason.
Exactly.
I don't know what else happens because.
And then there's like people saying how the Pope was murdered or something. I'm like, shut up.
Oh, please. If he was going to be murdered, they'd have done that early on because he was saying, who am I to judge? He was saying all kinds of shit that pissed all of them off at the tea dance that is the Vatican.
Exactly.
And they did not like that noise or that smoke.
Exactly.
And, if somebody was going to kill him, yeah, they'd have done it in the beginning, not now.
Yeah. The second he said faggots ain't so bad.
Right. Which, all the faggots they went, well, we're not, but but we have to keep up the facade.
Yeah, we're not that bad. I mean, they're not that. Hey.
As their dresses match the drapes. Jesus Christ. Yeah. In Prada pumps. Yeah. He, as popes go.
Right.
Pretty good one, I guess. I mean, based on what we've had and his predecessor, for Christ's sake, dear God.
Did more demonstrable good than harm.
That ugly. This one.
Yeah,
not Ratzenberger.
Oh, God,
his
no.
name was. No, he looked like a rat.
He looked like
And
pure
he was,
evil.
And was.
Yeah, he scared me.
So this one was better and humble and I believe lived his faith to the best of his ability. And I think had he not had all the other queens going not so fast, we would have heard more of that, more of the who am I to judge, more of the, message I think he was trying to say and shared before he was made Pope. Mm-hmm. Right. So, as they go, I don't get, but I was raised a Catholic, no secret. And they abandoned me. It wasn't the other way around.
Word.
I just found out there was no place for authenticity and honesty within that religion.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
They weren't making room for me. And the begrudging room that they've made of late is, as long as you stay celibate, I guess you get to exist. And I felt like saying, Queen, you first.
That part.
This episode is brought to you by Decanted Jug Wine and a desperate need to go grocery shopping. As Nottoway Plantation burns, I saw this picture. I didn't know what it was about. The ancestors and social media rejoice.
Child, the memes. Especially from people that were like from the area. Like my favorite was, it's burning in the background. You see a black woman in the foreground just dumping water onto the ground.
Oh my God. Yeah, this monument to Southern grandeur, built on the backs of enslaved black people, has been destroyed by a fire that raged for nearly 40 hours. I guess if you don't add water.
Right.
It began late May 15th. The inferno gutted the 160-year-old estate turned resort. Good God. Once the largest antebellum mansion remaining in the South.
Yeah, they turned it into a motherfucking resort.
I know. I
hope every single white person that ever vacationed there has a partnering like black ghost following them home and like stealing their mayo and
wow.
Taking away the startup app for their Tesla or whatever the fuck.
Wow. Damn. Yeah, it started on the 14th when staff noticed smoke in the south wing, and the fire quickly spread through the 64-room, 53,000 square foot property, including a 3-story rotunda. It's been on the historic registry since 1980. Despite efforts from multiple fire departments, the structure was lost. Others see many. I'm not even going to talk about the fire department. Many see poetic justice in the ashes of a plantation that never meaningfully confronted its legacy of slavery.
Yeah.
Right. It became a fucking resort.
Right. Not a museum.
No, a resort.
Resort.
Yeah. It was built in 1859 by sugar magnate John Hampton Randolph, powered by the forced labor of more than 150 enslaved people. A fact that is often glossed over in the tourism brochures.
I bet it is.
Imagine that. For many, it feels less like a tragedy and more like a reason to celebrate. One social media user pointed out the lack of acknowledgement of the property's racist past as a reason for indifference. Nottoway is burning. I have not a care.
Yep.
Rebranding a plantation as a resort is wild and diabolical. They don't even acknowledge the history of plantation on their website. They refer to it as a southern mansion. Yeah. Black Enterprise is a website that is impossible to read from, but I think we caught the gist.
Well, I was going through Google because I sought this story out to include in the notes today. And I was going by the headlines who I was going to pick because there was like Fox News was like, it was a devastating fire. Yeah, whatever. Next. The building was lost. Yeah, all right. Next.
Anyway, it's gone.
Exactly.
It burned, baby, it burned. Yeah.
And the motherfucker wants to rebuild.
Who's going to do that? At today's prices and actually having to pay labor? Let's see.
That part.
How many? The 1-story, 3-bedroom structure. Yeah, how does that work?
Yes! I didn't even get that far. Work.
This episode is brought to you by Decanted Jug Wine the start of Pride Month, and a week chock full of divas. So anybody who says, Pride is dead, they had a waiting list of about 100 vendors. So, there was no way at the late date that we contacted them to get a table, but, they graciously gave me the opportunity to write. So I did. Yeah, it's just going to be a busy month. I'm speaking at Pittman Pride on the 14th.
Mm-hmm.
So that I'm excited about that because that's, that's hometown right there.
Yup.
Yeah, full circle. That's another full circle moment, man.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm excited. And Woodbury, New Jersey is having their very first Pride on the 29th. Our friend Joe Miller is helping to organize that, and I believe the MC. So there's probably a chance my big mouth will be there as well. So
much pride.
So much pride. Yeah, by July 1st, I'm afraid never see another rainbow.
Exactly. We started our Pride Month by raising a brand new pride flag.
We did. It was tattered.
It was.
Our Progress Pride flag, which is up year round, was tattered.
And it was cute as a little metaphor of the current state of things for a while, but then it just started to look a little
June 1st,
sad.
we deserve a brand new flag.
That's right.
And then I noticed that the American flag, the flags above it, is a little tattered, but that seems an apt metaphor.
Yeah, that's still...
As we march into Pride Month.
Still working as a metaphor.
Yeah, no shit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got a lot of that today.
Need to be happy it's flying right side up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no kidding. That's the distress
correct
symbol, right? Upside down. Yeah. Well, good thing you didn't mention that while I was working the pole, because I think I might have turned it upside down.
While I was working the pole.
The flagpole.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what you meant.
That is what I meant.
I know that's what you meant.
What were we talking about this morning? We were talking about silly women. And I forget what you said. I forget why I said it, but I said there are women who don't get off the pole until they fall off it. I meant that shit.
I almost fell out of bed.
Well,
and our bed's higher now, so
it is. Yeah,
that would have hurt.
It's more of a drop.
We have a wonderful artist, author, performer, and all-around fierce diva. She has written a wonderful book called The Queen Bees of Tybee County. Kyle Casey Chu, welcome to the Full Circle Table.
Thank you so much for that illustrious opening. It is a pleasure to be here.
You are one of the founding queens. Your what am I trying to say? Your artistic counterpart, Panda Dulce. You are one of the founding queens of drag storytime, right?
It's true.
Which is, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Chaw. So because of your experience dealing with the Proud Boys and drag storytime, you definitely have first person experience with triumphing over adversity, which is, an integral part of being a queer person in America, especially right now. And you're like an authority on in that area, I would say.
Thank you. Yeah, I think a lot of any resilience that I have, I owe to my community, which is such a queer answer, right? But it's real for a reason. Like after it happened, I was just inundated with press and journalists asking me over and over to just relive it in a really excruciating way and like asking for all these details. And I was like, it felt like I was being cornered into being triggered so that they could have that soundbite for what they wanted the story to be.
Right.
As well as just, like trauma dumps and love letters and death threats and transphobic hate. And so in the aftermath, I couldn't really make any decisions in my life. Like my executive functioning was shot. I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't even order food. I was just so overwhelmed. And
that's real, yeah.
And my friends stepped up in in a big way, and queer and trans people from across the world. Like I got letters from like Norway and Sweden, people sending me like tea and crystals and like, organizing meal trains and coming to cook like larb for me, like Thai food, and just volunteering to come watch movies with me. And it kind of clarified what pride meant for me, that it's less about the ostentatious floats and it's more about this network of people who we've cultivated together. And I thought that was a really beautiful thing, and it gave me a lot of hope in the future.
James Baldwin's groundbreaking novel Giovanni's Room has been extended through June 29th. It's playing on stage at the Quintessence Theater at the Sedgwick. And today we're going to talk to Midge Neath and Dito von Reigersberg from the cast. Welcome to the Full Circle table.
Thank you for
How are
having
you?
us. There's a lot of letters throughout the show. And the very last image of the show, which we had to work on as a special effect for a very long time, is that he gets a final letter from me, from Jacques, that he rips up and he throws it away. But there's the end, and the piece of torn letter blow back at him, which is this sort of beautiful idea that you can try to destroy the evidence. You can try to destroy what's happened, and you can try to say, I didn't mess up anyone's life. I didn't lie to anyone, but truth is going to blow back to you.
Always does.
Yeah. But I think part of what's so heartbreaking and strange about what happens to David is that he ends up lying a lot, and you start seeing through him more and more and more. And just you start to see that those lies are destructive, and him lying to other people and him lying to himself. All of that creating
And sadly, that's a story that we've seen play out in real life way too many times. People hold on to the lie and it eats you up inside, and it starts to extend out from inside of yourself and affects everything around you and your whole life. Authenticity is the only healthy choice, but unfortunately it's not the available choice for some people.
Yeah. And for some people it was not encouraged in their families or how they were raised. So it's real.
Right.
It's a journey to find how to speak authentically.
Which I always think about when people say, hearkening back to the good old days, talking about this time period. If you think about like, not even just queer people, but like how everyone must have been walking around with so much repression all the time. Just like, even like your cishet white folks, like, because there's so many constraints about what is a man, what is a woman, and no one is those things like naturally, really, I don't believe. So it's like, that's what we want. We want to go back to this place of repression and inauthenticity and lying to ourselves. Great.
But the people who want us to go back are the ones that always worked out for, mostly.
Well,
I mean,
It makes sense.
they're having the good old days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's easy to be nostalgic because it's sort of imaginary. It's sort of like when I think back to a time that is gone, I think it was a great time, but there's no proof that it was a great time. And as you're saying, it was a great time for you in your particular
right.
world.
Yeah, I mean, I was really cute in the 80s, but we were scared to death to have sex. We didn't know what the fuck, I mean, like, we had great music, but yeah.
You can't desire a thing that you have. You can only desire the thing that you either have yet to achieve or the thing that you've lost.
Fair.
Yeah.
There it is.
Fair.
This is true. Quick and Dirty Pride episode. I know I'm all ears.
Hey, well.
I'm trans. Did I mention that? What? I am not a problem to be solved or something to be eliminated. I like to believe that I add some value in this world. Time will tell my story just as it will for those who would see me go on. Here and now, at this point in our history, my existence is being politicized as a distraction. The rhetoric surrounding me and mine is meant to confuse and divide. It's meant to instill fear, because when we are afraid, we do not make good decisions. Especially about people we've seldom or never bothered to call human in the first place. When we are fearful and distracted, it is impossible to summon our best selves. When fear takes hold, kindness is an act of resistance. Anyone who says they come from a place where there are no trans people comes from a place where we are oppressed and fear for our lives. The fact that safety might require us to hide is no measure of our existence. Our stories matter, and I, for one, will hide from no one. Not anymore. Not anymore. When the rhetoric gets so far out of hand, humans hide in fear for their lives. Solidarity is an act of resistance. Here in 2025, executive orders prohibit federal recognition of trans people in any aspect of civic life. I find that childish, churlish, and chilling. The history some would erase tells us you cannot order people from existence. You know, resistance doesn't always carry a bullhorn. In 2025, existing openly as a trans or gender expansive person is an act of resistance. Supporting us with your entire voice is an act of resistance. I'd like to say we're all still here in every color, shape, size, origin, and all the beautiful intersections. Queer, trans, black, brown, butch, femme, all the glorious and valid expressions in between, speaking every language and raised in every culture. I'd like to say all of the people my government is telling you to fear are still here, but some have already been gathered up. So only some of the people my government is telling you to fear are still right here. Boo. I assure you, we are going to church this afternoon. Flamey Grant, welcome to the Full Circle table.
Thank you for having me. It's a treat to be here.
Like, basically, how can you have a concrete answer to an abstract question? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. How can you talk with certainty and in facts and truths about something that you believe?
Right.
Thank you.
Belief by default is not true.
Right.
Belief is an untrue thing because it can't be. It can't possibly be. Otherwise, we would use the word truth.
Right.
And that's why we have to use the word believe, because that's something we hope.
Right.
We hope it's true.
Right.
That's
what faith is.
Faith in that thing.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
gonna trust in that thing, but I can't know it and I can't prove it.
Thank you.
And so why am I trying to do those things?
Right.
Why am I wasting my one wild precious life? Thank you, Mary Oliver.
Right.
To try to prove something that I can't. Like it's a whole different mindset when you finally do come to that place where you're like, oh,
Right.
I don't know. And guess what? I don't need to.
Yeah,
I'm going to live a gorgeous, beautiful, full life without knowing.
right.
And that is going to be fine. And the fear that gets instilled in so many of us in these really cult-like religious spaces, the high-demand religious stuff, is that there are horrible consequences, right? Hell, obviously, being the biggest one, but even more immediate consequences of losing your community, getting kicked out, excommunicated, whatever your particular brand calls it, like those are scary consequences when you're told and taught and indoctrinated and groomed
Thank
to
you.
believe
Thank you.
that there is only one way, that there is only the binary, and that you have to choose the good over the evil and all that. So it's I hear you on the. It takes a long time to unravel and extract yourself from the clutches of that kind of that grip of the requirements of certainty.
This episode is brought to you by Decanted Jug Wine, the fan running in the background to keep me alive, and my last queer nerve.
This is from a few weeks ago, but it's still so juicy that it's worth talking about.
It really was. The pictures were so sad.
The Hetero Awesome Fest
in Idaho.
First of all, if awesome is in the name of your event, it ain't.
I know. I know. It's like when you call yourself a diva, girl.
Exactly.
Girl. You is not.
Yeah, the festival.
Go sit down.
It was barely hetero. It was not at all awesome.
Nothing awesome about it. And I wouldn't call it a fest.
No, because
tens of people showed up.
3s of 7s of people.
It concluded with fighting, low attendance, and a racism scandal. How exciting.
Oh, yeah, because some fucking podcast was recording live, and they were saying how, the town was so nice and clean and quiet, and then he leaned to the mic and said, "There's no black people here."
Who said that?
The host of the podcast.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So it was one of those podcasts.
Yeah. And the ones that give everyone else, because there's that
bad
whole
name.
Is
that where we were going?
Yeah. There's that whole thing now, like how podcasts are bad and not helpful. It's like, no, y'all are just seeing these white yahoos with microphones screaming lies and hateful rhetoric. And those are the ones getting attention. Joe Rogan, I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
But then you have folks
I'm
like
just
us.
asking questions, but never the right questions.
Exactly. You have folks like us who actually give a shit about what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm. What was that meme that said he never asked questions about the patriarchy or capitalism?
Exactly.
Or any of the things he should be asking questions about.
Right.
It's almost like he ain't about shit.
Right. That's that double-edged sword. Anyone can have a podcast. However, that means
is true.
That means anyone can. Anyway.
I know, but they flock to that one.
I know.
He placates all of their insecurities. Mm-hmm. He makes them feel better about themselves. Because women have had, most of us are done trying to make you feel better about that little dick. So you need Joe Rogan to help you explain your life to you. And say it's our fault.
I was in an Uber, and the white driver was like, "Is it okay if I'm listening to a podcast?" And I was like, "Sure, I don't care. That's cool." He was like, "It's Joe Rogan." I immediately gave him 1 star.
There you go. Yeah, nope, not that one. And baby, if you don't know better, I ain't here to teach.
I was already listening to whatever I was going to listen to anyway, which is why I didn't care.
Know, but still.
But once he said Joe Rogan, nope, 1 star. Fuck you. And I believe my justification for my 1 star was the lack of cleanliness in the vehicle, because I counted that.
Okay. Well, that did filthy it up.
Right. Anyway, so the fucking Hetero Awesome Fest held in Boise, Idaho.
Yeah. People actually go to Pride events.
Exactly.
They managed to draw attention for all the wrong reasons. That's it. Just 4 dozen people attended.
2s of 5s of people.
About 30 to 50. I guess, depending on whether AI was involved in your photograph or not. Attended Hetero Awesome Fest across the 2 days.
Yeah. And most of those were queer people looking to see what was up.
Right. Like, what the fuck is you doing?
I think there were more queer people at the Hetero Awesome Fest than hetero people.
This is roughly the size of the self-proclaimed world's smallest Pride Parade in 2023, held in a neighborhood of around 40 people. Similar straight Pride events have a long history of attracting laughably low turnout. One event in California in 2019 turned out just 20 attendees in comparison to the 200 pro-LGBTQ plus protesters. And an event the same year in Texas, organized by the people who hosted Boston's failed straight Pride Parade, attracted just 3 people, one of whom later said she did not know what the event was.
Whatever.
And rebuked it.
I mean,
she could have just been walking by and stopped to look.
A straight pride parade, isn't that just traffic?
Yes. Yes, it is. It's traffic on any given day. The Sao Paulo Gay Pride in Brazil is considered the largest pride celebration in the world, attracting about 3 to 5 million attendees every year.
That's a lot of faggots.
The largest celebrations in North America are Toronto Pride and New York City Pride, which each attract millions annually.
Yeah, New York Pride is its own animal, child.
Yeah. They tried it. Once again, they got a womp womp. And they limited the women who are willing to fuck them. All in all, it worked out well.
Now, the best, though, is the musician who performed.
Okay. At this thing?
Yeah, Daniel Hamrick.
Right.
Was one of the musicians. And he
mocked.
Yeah, he got up on the stage and he like took off his overshirt, and underneath he had a jacket with a rainbow and pink triangle patches on it.
Oh shit.
And a crop top that read "Keep Canyon County Queer."
Oh.
And then he played a song titled "Boy" about a young trans boy. I saw the video and the song was fun, and it was like it like took people a while to realize what he was saying because nobody's paying attention.
Right.
And
what all 48 of them were talking amongst themselves.
Right, and they cut his mic and then like made him get off stage.
Mm-hmm. You know what? That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a healthy tee-hee behind that shit.
Good.
Ones of twos of people.
This episode is brought to you by Decanted Jug Wine and a list that doesn't exist. But if it did exist, the Democrats wrote it. And while it doesn't exist, Republicans unanimously voted not to share it. If it existed, which it does not.
It makes us extra proud to have listeners in Norway. Hey, y'all.
Yes. So I had worked with a client for several months before we started doing groups.
Yes.
Right, because we didn't have enough folks to do groups with. And, in those groups, I told my story, and talked about being trans, right? But she and I had never had any conversation like that because, it wasn't germane. I was working with her. I was trying to help her, get some stuff
never
together.
Came up.
And she whispered to Nikki, but went to Nikki later. She said, "Martha's trans." And Nikki said, "I know." And she said, I had no idea. I thought she was Norwegian.
Because you're tall and blonde.
Apparently. Yes. And so it's kind of become a little running joke.
Martha's Norwegian.
Yeah, I am Norwegian. Yeah. Because there was a dude who was, I guess, new, talking, not knowingly, but talking to one of my clients who I, very masculine, male identified. And they were way down the hall, and the guy nodded at me and said, "That's a dude. I guess my silhouette is quite tall." And my client went, "Where?" And he nodded, and the client went, "That is not a dude. That is Martha. She's Norwegian." So it's a running, yeah.
I told you every time
comes up every few months.
Says something, you should just respond, yeah.
Right. Right. It's clearly, I do not deny the fact that I'm trans. It's just funny whenever, you know what I mean?
Right. I mean, it makes sense. Tall, blonde.
Yeah, I guess.
Striking figure.
There you go. Cheekbones.
Yeah.
That is what it is.
You do like yogurt.
Okay. Is that a Norway thing? But not herring, so.
Juano Diaz is a wonderful author and artist, and his autobiography entitled Slumboy has been called by The Guardian one of the most moving accounts of nonfiction ever written, and I cannot help but agree. Juano, thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much, Charles. That's some introduction. Thank you.
Thank goodness
I
for
had
art.
to, you know.
Thank goodness for art. So and I saw how in your teenage years and your early adulthood, it felt like a lot of your relationships were like transactional. Like how did all of that affect your adult relationships, if I may ask?
I didn't have many adult relationships. I mean, we've all kind of done stuff. I had a few relationships where I allowed people to walk over me, and I got into stupid situations and stuff. I think we all have when we're younger. Um, I've been so sort of laser focused with creating art and photographs and film that it's kind of it overtook all that for a long, long time. Um, and I've had a couple of relationships. The relationship I'm in just now is probably the most like level one. Um, but yeah,
Well, I do love that for you.
yeah, it's good.
I imagine, I mean, we all go through that period of wanting to please others,
Hmm.
but you had to go through that for a sense of like stability and survival,
Hmm.
especially with your adoptive parents wanting to be the kind of person they wanted you to be,
Hmm.
which meant not being who you were.
Mm.
And I felt like, you know, that was a constant struggle.
It was, but I fought so hard against them.
You
I
did.
think that's
You were a
I think
difficult
that
child.
they would say that. They would say my father to this day would say, "You were such an arsehole to us," and in a joking way.
Right.
But I couldn't help it. I had to express myself. I had to, when I was at that age where I understood what was what. I didn't give a shit. I went out in the village and wore high heels and was making these big camp paintings and just being myself. I wasn't going to conform to working in a scrapyard and living in a boxing gym, which is what my dad done. I hated it. It wasn't me. It wasn't my It's not my nature.
You were
So
so much bigger than the life that you.
I just
Yeah.
have creativity connected to my core.
Mm-hmm.
And in a small village in Scotland, there's no reference at all for that. So one wonderful thing happened with satellite TV when that appeared back in the 80s. And we suddenly were exposed to like fashion TV,
Mm.
MTV, and all that visual stuff. I mean, I just drunk all in and went with it. So it was almost like an explosion waiting to happen.
Okay. Favorite supermodel, go.
Naomi Campbell,
That better have been the answer.
also Marpesa.
Okay.
Marpesa, she's sensational.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I was a Naomi fan myself.
Yeah, she's stunning, stunning.
Every now and again, I whip out my Naomi Campbell walk just because.
Hey, why not? You have to. Have
Exactly.
to.
Hey, y'all. So today it's just me. I have you all to myself, but that's okay because it's my birthday. Finally, I've been hearing everyone talk about how the spin-off series, the sequel series, the follow-up series to Sex and the City, and Just Like That is ending. I never really cared, but someone accused me of being a bad queer for never having watched an episode. So I was like, fine, I'll watch the fucking show, see what all the hoo-ha and hoopla is about. I couldn't make it through the first episode of season 1. I made it exactly 20 minutes through, and it took me 3 tries to get that far. I am not exaggerating. 3 tries. I don't know why I expected anything different because, like I said about the first series, after the first episode, I can see why y'all are single because y'all are like hateful, ungrateful bitches. But in this go around. They're older and they're supposed to be dealing with that. But I never thought I would long for the New York that the first series took place in, where there were no black people. Because now the comedy, or at least from what I gleaned from the first episode, the comedy comes from, I have to deal with people that are different from me, and I'm just so white, and it's so awkward. Isn't that hilarious? Cringe, 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 ha ha ha. First of all, I hate cringe porn humor, and this is dumb. Like, okay, you don't deal with people of color that often, but it's like it comes across as if this is the first time they've ever interacted with people of color. It's like, come on now. So I did my due diligence and I watched half of one episode, and I can safely say that it's some bullshit, and I'm glad it's ending. Because between Miranda being inadvertently racist to her law professor and fucking Carrie not being able to comprehend they, them pronouns, oh my goodness. Child, just, fuck y'all. Just fuck y'all. And your white nonsense.
This episode is brought to you by hot coffee and the last morning of a much-needed vacation.
So, the immortal bard Snoop Dogg, ha ha ha, I'm kidding, recently on some Hotep-ass podcast said basically that there shouldn't be LGBTQ plus representation in kids' movies. Quote, they're going to ask questions. Do we have to show that? Now, the film in question was Lightyear, which we've talked about on the show, which was the spin-off film about Buzz Lightyear. And his partner, voiced by Uzo Aduba, her character in one scene where they're flashing through time, it shows her and her presumably wife or female partner, and they have a 2-second kiss, and it shows that they have a baby together.
Yes.
And he's talking about how he was at the movie with his grandson, and his kid was like, oh, that's two women. How can two women have a baby? And all he would say is, just watch the movie. And why do we have to see that? Because it's kids' movies and they're going to ask questions. And what am I supposed to do then? Fucking answer them?
Yeah, he said he doesn't have the answer. Yeah.
And
two women can love each other and
Right. And that just shows how little you actually think, A, about queer people, and B, about women that you're not fucking. Yep. Because if you had any kind of social conscience at all where it related to the LGBTQ plus community, you would have a ready-made answer for the kid.
Sure. People who love each other sometimes raise children together.
Exactly.
Period. Like, it's not hard.
But,
truly not hard.
You're a lazy bitch. And we want to talk about, he wants to get hung up on things that are appropriate for children.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was looking at some of the lyrics to his songs, and there was one particular song, just the one song I read about him running trains on women, and never referred to any of the women in the song in any way other than bitch. He talked about being a pimp and selling this one girl's pussy, fucking another dude's sister. And this is all in the same 3-minute span. But a 2-second kiss and a frame or two of two women and a baby is too much for children and causes questions.
Yeah, I wonder how does he explain his lyrics to his grandchildren?
Like, put my dick on your forehead so it stays on your mind, that kind of thing.
Yeah, like that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he's got no problem explaining that.
He featured on a song where the chorus was bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. They lick on the nuts and suck the dicks. So,
Yeah, but that's okay.
Yeah.
His grandchildren, he can explain that, you see.
Yeah.
He just can't explain that, two women might be in love and raising a child together.
Well, love and women are not two words that go together in his vernacular.
Maybe that's the bigger problem, huh?
He has written a fabulous book, and I'm not saying it's fabulous just because I'm in it. It is about Black fandom, and it is called Fandom for Us, by Us, The Pleasures and Practices of Black Audiences. Alfred L. Martin is in the house. Hello, sir. How are you?
Thank you so much. Thank you. I am well. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
There is that element of, for queer folks, I know, the idea of chosen family plays a huge part in it, I'm sure. And then also the shadiness of it.
Yeah.
You know, one of the best moments of my personal life, this is when I'm still bartending, and someone asked me, "Can I ask a stupid question?" And I just, without missing a beat, better than anyone I know.
Yep.
I was like, I'm good now.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the thing that kept me. It's the cleverness of the writing, and it was just funny.
Mm-hmm. I think one of the really interesting things about the show and Black folks' engagement with it is that they're obviously, like, as Black folks, we know we're watching a bunch of white folks. But there's also this, and I hate to say it as work because it sounds like it's work, but it's not necessarily, but it's the work of us sort of trying to fit the Golden Girls into a pre-existing pattern that already exists in our brain. So it is about the way, so one of the things that emerged was this kind of verbal sparring to sort of say to someone, ask someone, can I ask a stupid question? And the response being better than anyone I know, that for many Black folks felt like they were kind of sort of playing a version of the Dozens. And so what was really fascinating for me was the ways that this very white show, and in some ways, like, we don't really even love the episodes where Negroes show up, because it's like, just leave us out of this, because we can just enjoy the white ladies.
Right.
But so, like, this show with these white ladies on it, like, we can figure out how to read it Blackly. So it's like, don't worry about, like, you just do what you do. We'll take care of, like, making it make sense for us. And so that's one of the things that was really fascinating to me as I was doing these interviews, is figuring out the ways Black folks were making the show mean something for them.
Right. He is an author of a fabulous and thrilling new book called The Dead of Summer. And I am very excited to talk to him about it and its themes and all the wonderful things contained within the brightly colored covers. Ryan LaSala is in the house. Hi, Ryan. How are you?
I'm so good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I definitely loved the element of the bachelorette party being the moment that fucked it up for everyone, because much as in life.
Yeah, that's not fiction. I mean, that's truly not. I mean, the thing is, though, I don't know. Like, I'm friends with a lot of drag queens, and they can't necessarily speak ill about the bachelorettes because bachelorettes have money, right? They bring in, like, an infusion of tourism that, like, we kind of need in order to provide what we need for, like, the rest of our community in those spaces. And so I like the idea of, like, a necessary evil being part of this particular world. That's how I think about them. But even when you go to these places, right, like Provincetown, or, like, if you go to, like, gay bars and stuff, like, even the physical invasion of a bachelorette party, like, all of these people dressed identical. And I'm talking about, like, the straight bachelorette parties, because I've seen plenty of lesbian bachelorette parties roll up, and they look fantastic.
Right.
And I'm glad that they're there. But I'm talking about the, like, like the Savannah girls, and like, they'd probably be a little bit more at home in, like, Nashville,
Right.
but they've decided to come to, like, this gay bar, and
the woo girls, I call them.
The woo girls, right? And, like, there is this sense of, like, invasion about them, and the way that they look, and it kind of feels fungal, right? To see all these people in like their like pink fuzzy shirts with their tiaras. Like
Not
I'm scared
fungal.
that I'm gonna like, I'm scared that I'm gonna like leave the bar and find like a feather boa like snaking around my neck, right?
Right.
Like it feels contagious.
All of a sudden, the only thing that will sustain you is rosé.
Right, I know, and I need to cry off my mascara twice in one night, but then reapply it in the bathroom and be like built back up by my girls, right? Like, I do feel a tender thing for these bachelor parties, but I wanted to write about that particular like entitlement and how it can sometimes spell disaster for a place.
She is a New York Times bestselling author. She has written an amazing and fun and dark book, darkly fabulous, we'll call it. It is called Girl Dinner. And I am excited to have Olivia Blake in the house. Hi, Olivia. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. Really, Girl Dinner started as a punchline. I mean, it was when obviously that's a reference to the meme. I'm not on TikTok, so like it reached me like last. I like to joke that it reached me as Anne Hathaway's cerulean sweater,
Right.
trickled down to me. And so then I was like, wouldn't it be funny if I wrote a satire about a cannibal sorority and called it Girl Dinner? And enough people laughed that here we are.
Okay, so I'm glad you said cannibalism because I was trying to figure out how to talk about it without talking about it.
Right. No. We can just talk about it. The thing is that when I wrote this, or when I told my editor and she's like, you have to write that, I was like, don't you think there have been a lot of cannibal books recently? Like I had read a lot, at least 4 or 5 books in 2023 where it was like the surprise twist is cannibalism. And I was like, if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to contribute to the canon of cannibalism, then I want it to be, to not turn on the twist, like that you can kind of know the whole way through that you're like, oh God, they're cannibals, aren't they? So it's fine.
Well, it was funny because I was like, okay, so they're cannibals? Wait, they're witches? Wait, they're vampires? They're going to be all of them. Watch. Luckily, there was no wrong answer.
Yeah, maybe it's Maybelline. Yeah.
I love it. And part of me is like, do I have a list? But I don't think many of the people on my list would be very nutritious for anyone. I also love the themes of what is a good woman. I'm putting that in air quotes. And is there such a thing?
Right. Yeah. That's really the question. And the book is not trying to answer the question. I will just say that straight up. I think there's been a lot of people who have been like, oh, Girl Dinner is like the start of this femgore trend or something, which it absolutely is not. Girl Dinner is very much like in conversation with what I already see as an identifiable trend. Like there's, the woman having a meltdown is like pretty much my favorite literary subgenre. And this is a book that is very much one of those. But I think what's different about Girl Dinner is that it's like it already knows about those books.
This episode is brought to you once again by Decanted Jug Wine and my return to the mic after a 3-month hiatus.
Oh my goodness.
And 4 months without a cigarette. I have missed being here. I'm jumping to Lin-Manuel Miranda, who was in Out.com saying it was an easy decision to cancel Hamilton at the Kennedy Center. Another institution that Trump has trashed.
Yes, Lord.
While I was away. Yeah, they refused to perform, and good.
And not just them. Like Issa Rae was supposed to perform and didn't. There was a bunch of folks. And it was basically like, fuck y'all.
Is your monkey ass happy now?
That part.
You got, let's see, Kid Rock, Nicki Minaj.
Right. Right.
And Chachi, I think. So, I don't know. Yeah, so enjoy that.
And just because you put a house faggot in charge doesn't mean that it's going to be art.
No, it does not. No, it does not. I have an anecdote I would love to add to that, but I'm not going to. But I have one right at the tip of my tongue.
I don't know if he does know how many minutes make up a year. He's not the one, goddammit.
He's not the one. No. No. It's going to take a long time to get these institutions back, to look at all the mess. Because we've got it's kind of like a drunken toddler just running through the country.
Wow, that's an apt image.
Yeah. Yeah. Just smashing things, including the Kennedy Center.
The arts community had 525,600 ways to say fuck you.
Yeah, well, Grinnell had said that this was a publicity stunt that would backfire. And of course, this is the center's new president. Of course, he deleted that tweet.
They don't need to do a publicity stunt. They're fucking Hamilton.
Yeah. And of course, Harvey Firestein said he was banned from the Kennedy Center after he criticized Trump and called Grinnell a self-loathing queer. Because he is.
That part.
And self-loathing queer is a little more eloquent than house faggot,
but it's the exact same thing.
It is. Distinction without a difference.
Thank you.
Very much, yeah. Today we're visiting with artistic director Deborah Block and actors Ariana Gale and Scott Greer from Theater Exile in South Philadelphia. We recently saw their play Job, and it stuck with me. What an incredibly intense experience. We're really excited to talk with you. How are you all? Yeah, but all speak at once. It's fine.
You mentioned your choice for intimate plays that can exist in an intimate space. And I've only seen a handful of productions from Theater Exile. Loved every one of them, but every one of them has been exactly that, intimate, taking place in one location, and, if I may, really fucked up. And it's low-key what I come to expect. And is that the fucked upness? Is that something that you look for in each play, or that's just a happy accident for me in the times that I've gone?
No, I think that's a little bit of our DNA. I really like to dig into the human condition. Mm-hmm. We like things to feel timely, to feel like current, like we should be seeing this right now, that it makes sense that we're watching it right now. But when you get into the truth of the human condition, we're messy. And we all have a little fucked upness within us. And most of us, I think, try and put the good face and do our best journey. I think both of these characters were trying to be their best selves through the whole journey, because I think that's what we try to do. But when you reveal what's going on underneath, it gets complicated and messy and dirty. And I don't think we can fix things or understand things if we don't dive into that. So I'm not surprised that of the handful of things, there was a through line of fucked upness.
Okay.
That's on purpose.
So it wasn't just a happy accident. Okay.
No, I mean, there might be some things that you wouldn't describe that way, but I don't know, Scott, you know our work as well as anyone. What do you think?
Yeah, I like that, that Exile chooses plays that, challenge you and engage with you. It is not, you don't go to Theater Exile to be nostalgic or to be, mollified or have a nice, easy experience. But it's always entertaining and engaging and sort of asks you to look at things from a different perspective, ask you to re-examine things that you thought you understood really well. And so it's, and again, the audience knows why they're there and is excited to be there. And that's very gratifying to be a part of.
Just don't come expecting 42nd Street. Got it.
Yeah, I said Charles
And
said,
listen,
well,
nothing wrong with 42nd Street.
No, not at all.
42nd Street. Who doesn't want to watch,
Right.
incredible tap dancing for 2 hours? But that's not.
This ain't that.
Why you go to Theater Exile?
we got outside, and Charles said, well, and I said, that was not a musical. Today we have gathered two wonderful friends to talk about one of my favorite holiday movies, The Family Stone. With us first, she is the two-time Peabody Award-winning children's radio host from Philadelphia, our go-to media guru on all things media and entertainment, and our dear one, Kathy O'Connell. Welcome back.
Thank you. Very happy to be here. Kidscorner.org.
Right.
That's the end of my ad. From now on, Family Stone.
Okay. And he is Dr. Alfred L. Martin, Jr., Chair and Associate Professor in the Department of Cinematic Arts at the University of Miami, author of The Generic Closet, Black Gayness and the Black Cast Sitcom, editor of Rolling Blackness and Mediated Comedy, and co-editor of The Golden Girls Essay from the Lanai. He's also the author of Fandom for Us, By Us, which contains you somewhere in there, right? You're in it. I am your host, Martha Madrigal.
And I'm your host, Charles Tyson Jr.
And Alfred, welcome to the Full Circle Table.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I always say The Family Stone, my favorite Christmas movie about a problematic white family and their problematic White House guests. That's what this is. I do appreciate, though, the fact that, because Thad is hearing impaired, they sprinkle ASL throughout the dialogue of the film. And it's kind of like Spanglish. They go in and out of it because they don't sign everything they say. They just sign like pointed phrases and things.
Which, and I read up some on that. I did two things. I read up on that, and that is very much how it's pretty accurate in the ways that a hearing family does interact.
Well, I was telling Alfred about this earlier. I watched a Q&A with the actors who played the siblings, which is how I finally figured out that it's Luke Wilson who's in the movie, not Owen. And they talked about the naturalness and how everybody did get to use, because Ty Giordano is, Thad is right there on the panel with them, and how everyone was very comfortable learning like Christmas is this, except for Craig T. Nelson, who couldn't just like gracefully get any of them. He had the most trouble with the ASL, and they commented on that very thing, how very real it was and how natural everybody in the family was.
His lack of grace actually read to me as someone that's just been doing it for so long that it's just casual, and it's like a household dialect even. It's like, I do this, I mean Christmas. You know what I'm saying?
So it does ring true, that idea of Spanglish. But I sent the particular clip where, because I could not find an answer online.
Grandma signed something really bad.
But we never know what that is.
No one knows.
And so I heard speculation. Well, I sent the clip to my friend who is an ASL interpreter, and she said, honestly, I don't know. I can't see enough to tell you what she just said. And that was kind of what I heard. So I still don't know.
The world will never know what Grandma signed.
I assumed it was "go fuck yourself." That's what I assumed it was. But
I assumed that's what it was. Yeah. I just assumed that from the get-go.
Well, whatever it is, it wasn't the first time that little girl saw it, because she knew to point it out.
She knew.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that little girl? Can we get right to it?
We can, because that starts right in the hallway with...
That kid has Tootie syndrome. Tootie, the rottenest kid who has ever been in a movie, who's in my favorite movie, Meet Me in St. Louis, who never learns that actions have consequences. And I tell you right now, if I had broken the heel on a guest's shoe,
right,
they wouldn't be saying, oh, it's okay, Elizabeth, or I think we have glue somewhere. And the mother is, Susanna is my favorite of all the siblings. She's the only one I could truly stand. And she just accepts it.
Well, we talked about that last night. Susanna is the middle child.
One of them.
One of the middle
Yeah.
children. And so like she has that whole like I'm not rocking the boat, I'm not causing waves energy. Like she never really like so it probably carries over into how she raises that child. It's fine. We got 2 of those.
Right, yeah, like, well, no big deal. But I keep saying in the child's defense, she asked a question and she was ignored.
She didn't get an answer, so therefore she didn't have
answer.
permission to touch anyone else's shit.
I know, and that's what you and I'm like, well, she tried. She tried.
If I say, can I play with your shoes? And I don't get an answer, that is not an implied yes. That is leave it alone until you get the answer to your question.
Exactly. And obviously, uptight stranger I've never met.
Exactly.
Can I play with your shoes?
Especially when you said to her, I like your shoes. And she acted like you spat at her feet because she didn't know how to take a fucking compliment. Right. So I wouldn't want to touch your shoes.
This episode is brought to you by Decanted Jug Wine, surviving the holidays and a country I wish I didn't recognize, but I do.
So I've seen multiple camera angles of this happening.
Right.
Someone took the time to do a 3D model to show it from all angles. Mm-hmm. There's no way any of their arguments hold any kind of water. Mm-mm. She was not advancing toward any of them. She was turning to get away, to move the car that they fucking told her to move. Okay? And
she was moving it, yeah.
Right. The one ICE agent was in front of her car. She did not aim at anyone.
Right.
And she wasn't moving that fast because she was trying to not hit anyone or anything.
Right.
But he was mad that she didn't listen to him. She wasn't afraid of him. She wasn't afraid of him. She wouldn't get out of the car.
And she wasn't going to get out of the car.
Right. So he fired.
Which surprises no woman.
Right. So you fired 3 shots.
Yeah, this is a very fragile white man.
Right.
And this is what they're capable of when they feel not taken seriously, threatened in the not even threatened, laughed at in the least, not given the full dignity they want because they now have some stupid title, whatever the fuck.
Right.
That's what this is.
Right.
That's all this is. This woman did nothing wrong. I hope, this has been my thought, I hope this is the televised fire hoses. I hope that is this moment.
Right.
You know, it moves the needle when it is a person of color. Now it's a white lady.
Mm-hmm.
Now what?
And they're trying to use the fact
you're going to excuse a good man, she's queer, so.
Right. They were trying to use the fact that she's queer to diminish her fucking value as if that, you know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Of course. So that is disgusting. I am not trained in law enforcement, and my first thought would be, okay, fine. If you're in that situation and you feel that that's a threat, you shoot the tires, not the driver. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Just me? Apparently after he killed her, he could be heard saying, fucking bitch. Really? Really?
Fucking bitch.
So
that's right.
That goes to show that really all it was you were trying to show that uppity woman a lesson for not listening to you.
That is correct. That is not a man in fear of his life.
No.
That's a man whose ego has been brushed against.
Not to mention, she was moving at such a low rate of speed that he had 3 to 5 business days to get the fuck out of the way. I'm threatened. My life was threatened.
Mm-hmm.
Get the fuck out of here. No. And then there was a candlelight vigil for the woman that they murdered, and there's agents there, and there's video of this one kicking over candles. Just kicking them over.
Mm-hmm.
And someone was like, do you understand what you just did? And all they have to say is back up. Do you know why that was there? Back up. Do you know why that candle was there? Back up. This is a vigil for this woman. Back up. And then he pushed the guy back. It's they're bullies. They're the fucking Gestapo.
They are bullies.
That's all they are. This is Gestapo 2.0. You can't tell me different. They will be starring in the one-person show Draw the Circle, presented by Hedgerow Theater Company in Philadelphia. We're going to hear a lot about that, I'm sure, plus countless other fabulous and fierce things from our guest, Joseph Ahmed. Welcome to the Full Circle Table, Joseph.
Thank you. It's a delight to be here. This is the first time I have played, outside of my own work or a staged reading, a South Asian person on stage. This is the first time outside of those contexts that I have had to use any South Asian accent, had to do an Indian accent. It is also the first time, therefore, also that I've played like a non-cis South Asian person on stage. I have played so many other people. I have been Mexican, I have been Hawaiian, I have been Haitian for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
From the north side?
Yeah, like this been inside for a while. From the inside. So it's really amazing to be in a story that is so South Asian. It just like feels like such an honor and such a rare circumstance for like the moment and the person to align that I actually get to be in this play.
Nice.
And similarly to transness, I think in stepping into this show, I've had to struggle through a lot of feelings of not being trans enough and not being Asian enough to do the play. And I have, and these are also just like struggles I have in my life. I have the constant struggle of not feeling Asian enough. A lot of this for me comes back to the fact that, unlike I think a lot of South Asian families and Dean's family in the play, where there is this weight of a whole bunch of cultural expectations that get put onto kids. I didn't really have that because of the way that my family is made up. I was sort of more thought of as like, you're kind of like my white kid, like you're kind of your mom's kid. And like, I'm gonna not... And there was some decision between the two of them of like sort of which expectations would be laid on me and which weren't. And in some ways that's been very freeing. And in some ways it's been very like alienating and distancing from my identity and from my family. And so it's been really interesting because I have had to navigate a lot through those feelings of not being Asian enough. And it's been really lovely some moments in the story I'm like, oh yeah, man, this was not my experience at all. And then there's these other just like small moments that will come out where I'm like, oh, this is so true. Like there's this moment where a lot of the play is based around this one thing, like intense Thanksgiving that they had together. And at the end of that Thanksgiving, the mom is describing like packing up food to go, and she's putting it in the yogurt containers and labeling it, and then tying those up tightly in a plastic bag so they won't leak. And I was just like, this is exactly what my Bangladeshi family does, like to a T. This is just like right on the nose. And so it's been really lovely finding those bits of connection and moments.
This episode is brought to you by Decanted Jug Wine and my disdain with cis male fragility. Notice I didn't say cis het, because if they were actually straight, we'd probably have far fewer issues and reserve ice for beverages where it belongs.
The story that went out is in direct conflict with the eyewitness accounts of not just Keith Porter's family, but other residents of the neighborhood. Like for instance, the off-duty agent, ICE agent, was saying how Keith had fired on him, pointed his gun at him, when actually what happened was Keith went outside to celebrate, as many others had done before him,
and shot the gun in the air
by shooting his AR-15 in the air. And that was it. He was on his way back into the house when his neighbor, the off-duty ICE agent, after having gone inside and putting on his tactical gear, came outside and threatened him and shot him dead.
Let me go put my suit on.
Right.
Because black people aren't supposed to have automatic weapons.
Right.
They didn't mean that.
And the biggest, the one point that stuck out to me was the family member was saying how the ICE agent reported that Keith fired 3 shots at him, and that someone was saying how 3 shots were heard, and she was like, it was an AR-15.
You can't fire 3 shots.
Right, which is an automatic weapon.
Yeah.
So even if you pulled the trigger once, it's going to be more than 3 shots.
Which arguably should not have existed in the first place, but
right.
It did. It did.
Right.
It did. And the people who would defend the ICE agent are the ones who defend, citizens being able to be so armed.
Right.
But you only met white people, probably.
Right. Oh, of course.
Yeah, along with your friend. So was the neighbor white?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. And it has recently come out that the agent is facing allegations of abuse and hateful remarks, according to a new LA Times report. And given the new allegations, the family of Keith Porter and their attorney believe that this could qualify as a hate crime or race-related.
Well,
even though we knew that before,
right.
But now,
right, because there's a history here, and the LA Times is reporting on it.
Right.
Good.
So I just wanted to make sure that in this episode we made a point of mentioning Keith Porter Jr.
Yes.
And the fact that his death was just as significant, and wasn't getting the talk and the press that it should have.
This episode is brought to you by decanted jugged wine, snow days, and frigid temperatures. It's currently 16 degrees here in New Jersey.
And I related to Lamont on Sanford and Son, the whole like wanting more for yourself no matter where you happen to be from.
Right. Right. And his actual first name, which I thought was interesting, was Grady.
Yeah, Grady DeMond Wilson.
And there was the character,
Grady.
the friend of Fred Sanford, who was Grady.
Right.
So I wonder if that was,
because it's not that common of a name.
It really is not.
So
it really is not.
Like even then, I don't think.
No. Yeah, Sanford and Son, I did not realize was only on between 72 and 77.
Yeah.
So about 6 years, 6 seasons, I guess.
Part of that
5 seasons, maybe.
Was Red Fox didn't want to be typecast as an old man because he wasn't as old as he played.
No, he wasn't, was he?
Mm-mm.
He was not all that old.
And he was starting to like get put in that box.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, I still got like hoes to fucking cocaine to snort. I can't be
right. Right.
I'm not speaking out of turn by saying that either.
He was, yeah, and right. I remember who Wanda Page, right? LaWanda Page.
Yes.
What played his
Aunt Esther? His sister Esther. Wait,
no. His wife's
sister Esther.
Yeah,
right.
His dead wife, who was because he would I'm coming. Elizabeth,
yes.
Yeah, so
Child, it's been a minute.
And apparently, and I don't remember when I heard this, but she was a filthy comedian as well. Yeah.
My God.
She worked Dark Blue.
Let me tell you that Midnight Blue. Because I discovered on Apple Music all these old school comedian sets. Mm-hmm. Like I discovered Dick Gregory and Red Fox and Bill and I came across LaWanda Page, and I was like, so when I was in college, I used to buy all these house tapes, and there was this one like XXX house tape, and there was a set of hers that was on there, and I was like, okay, that's nasty, but I can handle that. It's kind of funny. And then I found an actual comedy album of hers. I couldn't listen to the whole thing. It was too much for me.
Really? That much.
I was like, God damn.
It offended your sensibilities.
Put the where and the what until you fall in the which. And you're wiping it from what off your, ooh, child, I can't. Mm-hmm. I might walk past a child or want to eat food later. I can't listen to this.
Right. Oh, that's funny. Because not many comedians worked filthy.
That was filthy. I have never heard any comic more dirty than LaWanda Page.
I never knew that.
And that's saying some shit.
I never knew that. But yeah, I remember that. I think we talked about that when she died. That they, people were talking about those early days.
She also she was a talented burlesque performer too.
Okay. Well, they used to call those party albums, I think, didn't they? The comedy albums that were.
Yeah, but that album would bring the party to a screeching fucking
usually,
halt.
Right. Risque, but not.
Right.
Yeah.
Because, like, Red Fox, that was a party album. LaWanda
Right.
Page is what you, I guess, play to let people know it's time to go. I don't know.
This episode is brought to you by Decanted Jug Wine and the exhaustion of the ancestors.
I remember I watched, especially the first season of Top Model. Like, Lisa and I had a standing date at her apartment where I would come and we would watch this show.
Okay.
And it was just like, you know, this is the early days of reality television. So it was the Wild Wild West, child. And, you know, seeing these young girls be put through the ringer for the chance at a career as a model.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that part of the reason why I accepted so much of the stuff that happened on this show was because at the time, I was an up-and-coming artist trying to make my way in the dog-eat-dog world of performing arts.
Sure.
So, you know, the whole thing of like, you got to pay your dues and there's things you got to do and there's things you got to put up with. And, you know, you can't complain and you can't bitch and you got to do this and you got to do that. So, like, all that just aligned
Getting raped on camera shouldn't be one of them.
Thank you. Oof. So, yeah. So many things came out that happened to these girls in the process of making the show. And, you know, a lot of it just wasn't cool. And it was supposed to be a rejection of the fashion world at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at the same time, it was a reflection of the fashion world.
It really was, because, you know, while there was lip service paid to this, you know, I don't know, being some new frontier, I heard an awful lot about that's the way things are. Yeah. So that was confusing.
Yeah. Like, Tyra claimed that her whole reason for starting the show was to show the fashion world that there's more than one body type, there's more than one skin color, there's more than one look.
Right.
And then, as she was quickly reminded, she was making a fucking television show.
Mm-hmm.
So all of a sudden, you know, oh, you have to watch your weight. Oh, you need to look like this.
Right.
And it's like, oh, 5 seconds ago you said, oh, okay. And these girls are just going to do whatever they are told.
And some of those children look like they had not had a meal in...
Exactly. Like, the plot, because I remember, like, every season there's always one plus size model, at least one plus size model. And looking back, I'm like, she's plus size in that.
She's a size 6.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that was fucked up because one of the girls was talking about, and there was one plus size model that actually won like far down the line when I had no longer been watching the show.
Right.
And she was talking about how, you know, she's being uplifted as like, you know, you're doing this for the big girls, you're doing this for the plus size models, but yet nowhere they sent her had clothes that fit her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know?
Of course.
And all of these challenges and all of these things were basically designed to break these girls down.
Yeah.
And
for your viewing pleasure.
Right. And one of the things that like totally horrified me was Cycle 2. I remember watching in real time with everyone else the storyline of the girls were sent to Milan.
Right.
And they had to go on their go-sees. And so each of the girls was assigned an Italian man on a Vespa.
Right.
To take them to their go-sees.
Right.
And so like, the challenge was they had to communicate with their guy because they didn't speak Italian and the guys didn't speak English, and they had to get to their go-sees on time and everything. Okay, fine. Then afterwards, they come back to the house and, oh, surprise, surprise, here's the guys again. And they're all like drinking and laughing and having a good time. And some of them are in the hot tub. Yep. And Shandy ends up like making out with one of the guys. And she has a boyfriend back in the States. And so, you know, we're shown that like, you know, they hook up, they have sex. And then she starts freaking out because she cheated on her boyfriend.
That is how it was all framed.
That's how I remember seeing it.
Her moral failing
on the television. Yeah.
Right.
And she was a wreck for cheating on her boyfriend.
Right.
She, you know, called her boyfriend, who handled it very badly, called her a fucking bitch and all this stuff, when she broke down and told him that she cheated on him.
Right.
Come to find out, what ended up happening was she was sexually assaulted by this young man.
Her account at this point is very different,
right,
from what was aired. Yeah,
right, and
that she,
and they filmed it all.
Right, they kept filming. Copious amounts of alcohol, no food.
Right,
and that she blacked out at some point, and in the hot tub. She has no memory.
She said at one point I could feel that sex was happening, but I wasn't aware of what was going on.
Right.
That's rape.
Yeah.
Period.
Oh yeah.
And they filmed it.
Right.
So.
Right.
And I'm sitting there like, oh my God. Oh my God. Because A, that's what happened to her. And B, the way they framed it. Because like I said, I remember being like, why is she like reacting so like this so dramatically over, she hooked up with, because, I'm thinking like, you're an 18-year-old girl. You're on Top Model. You're in Milan. You hooked up with an Italian dude after being in a photo shoot. Like, okay, you cheated on your boyfriend, but girl, come on. Now I understand. That's not why she was upset. That's horrifying. Full Circle is a Never Scared Productions podcast, hosted by Charles Tyson Jr. and Martha Madrigal, produced and edited by Never Scared, executive produced by Charles Tyson Jr. and Martha Madrigal. Our theme and music is by the Jingleberries. All names, pictures, music, audio, and video clips are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of their respective copyright holders.